It's a great day to be a Coyote. Welcome, Coyote Nation, to another episode of Back to Pack Podcast, where we are going to be bringing you all of your favorite games, memories, and of course, discussion with our fellow Coyotes. As a disclaimer, we have no affiliation to the University of South Dakota. This is a podcast ran by fans for fans. The ideas and comments do not represent the university. Our opinions are our own. Be sure to find us on Twitter at BackToPackSD. With that being said, let's jump in. What's going on, Mitch? How you doing?
Hey, Jake, I'm good. How are you, buddy?
Good. I actually have the audio running from the YouTube, so I just had a overlay there. Got two feeds at once. Very difficult to make it through a script when you hear yourself talking. How you feeling?
I'm actually feeling pretty good. I'm not
I
gonna
need to
lie.
be I need to be three more deep of these bad boys right here.
Give you
But
a, I'll give you a cheers here if I can get on
yeah, there
camera.
we go.
There you go.
Camera cheers.
All right.
It is hate week. Our attention, I know it's been running since Sunday. We had our focus obviously on the post-game follow-up. It's time to hate on those rivals up north.
Oh man, this game, I tell you what, we're gonna get into it. There are so many storylines and intrigue around this game. We could come at this from a bunch of different angles. There's Yote fan already jumping in the chat. What's up, Yote fan? Thanks for tuning in tonight. I think going back to when the schedule's released, right? This is a game that we all circle.
Exactly.
in big red marker. So
yeah, the thickest.
Part of me is like, holy crap, it's already here. Like the season seems like it's flying by.
Yeah, I tell you what, running this podcast, having a fantastic. Well, honestly, I have two teams that are fantastic right now. I know you're enjoying yourself over on the FBS side as well.
Oh yeah,
it eats into your fall quickly.
It does. And we've been putting out a lot of content too between, Facebook, Twitter, and obviously here on YouTube, and then trying to get it over to the podcast format. We've been busy.
Yeah, I like it. I'm having a blast with it. It makes it easy when the team's as good as they are.
Heck yeah.
But I think, with that being said, I think it's time to jump into it.
All right.
Now, before we go too deep, just want to make some announcements. So it is out there. We do have a few watch parties. Just wanted to give everybody a heads up on. First one, out in Rapid City at Wings and Rings on Sheridan Lake Road. So if you're out in that area, be sure to stop by, support the Yotes, and have a beer with a friend. Sioux Falls, we have two locations going off. We have Sandbar on Marion Road, and then we have JJ's Wine, Spirits, and Cocktail Bar. Now, JJ's is owned by a former Yote, so it is always good to go out and support them on that. In Vermilion, we do have Leo's on Market Street. Don't forget to stop by and go have a beer with probably some college students at that point. But
yeah, that's always a good spot in Verm.
Yes, exactly. Now, I will say, for the two Sioux Falls watch parties, I have been working very closely with Ed out of 19 Brewing. We are doing our best to get some some legacy beer on tap, at least in the cans, maybe at those bars. So,
man,
as soon as I hear more, it's going to be posted.
I hope that happens. That'd be fantastic.
I tell you what, after the Yotes win, I don't care. I'm doing a keg stand or a pull off the draft, leaning over the bar. We're gonna have fun.
Oh man, let's go.
Yeah, I'm so pumped. I've been freaking you guys a little bit out in our group chat, have I not?
You're definitely, I don't know even the right word for it, but you're borderline psychotic at this point.
You want to know what the worst part is? I've been holding stuff back. Like you want to know how bad this is? I have a fantastic play design drawn up. And I can see it totally working for USD. But then I feel like it's very weird to text a coach like, hey, I got to play for you guys. But then also him probably responding back with saying, Jake, that's really simple to cover. This is all you'd have to do. Something along those lines.
I don't think Josh Davis needs your creativity on this one. This has his revenge game written all over it.
I feel like this is a coming out celebration for a few people on this USD team.
For sure. All right,
where would you like to start?
I said that's good stuff with the watch parties, especially West River. I was just going to say, shout out to them for putting that together. That's fantastic. The more we can spread the Yote love and get people to get together to enjoy some camaraderie, some good food, some good drinks, and hopefully a good game will be a good time for everybody.
I will
But
say, we are working really close with the Alumni Association too. I do feel like as a whole, this game, the ball was dropped on watch party opportunities, getting something started. There are new bars popping up in Sioux Falls all over. We are
right.
putting an effort into making this more possible. So continue to follow along. We'll see new bars potentially popping up. Obviously, going to support the ones with the USD alumni on there, like JJ's. And if I remember correctly, Jordan was the one that put the effort into the Sandbar one.
Yep.
And there is Jordan. A USD connection there as well.
Okay.
So we're not just picking bars at random. There is a special meaning behind each one of them.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say too, this ticket, I think this game sold out in August. I want to say the end of August. So the ticket now I was looking at resale on like SeatGeek and they were going for 75 to 160-ish maybe.
Yep, exactly.
So this was a tough ticket to get if you waited, So with that being said, the watch parties are crucial as fans want to get together and, do some stuff. So
plus
they're only allowing so many of us in there, right? What do we get? 200 tickets, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
And then whatever people buy resale or whatever. So
the best part about a watch party, though, your IQ is not going to drop.
Boom. Coming in hot. All right. I like it.
Dude, I got a gang of them. I'm ready to roll. You know what? We're going to do what coach is going to do at the beginning of the game. When we win the coin toss, we're taking offense first. I guarantee it.
Oh.
So let's do it ourselves.
All right.
How's you feeling on that?
All right. Let's do it.
All right. So my play design. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to get that deep into it. What are you feeling about this? How are you feeling after seeing all these new numbers that have come out showing Yotes as the number one scoring offense in the Missouri, number one scoring defense in the Missouri? How do we handle this?
We pretty much in terms of even Missouri and then obviously entire FCS too. We pretty much have them beat in every statistical category on offense in terms of total offense, time of possession, efficiency, even passing offense. The only one they have us on, and it's not by much, they're rated 6 in rushing offense to our 7. So basically, a toss up there in terms of rushing offense. But it's really interesting because this really sets up in terms of the Yotes, right? And looking at the offense specifically, this team, we knew our offense was going to be good this year because we returned 10 of 11 guys. And looking at our offense and how it sets up, I think this is probably the best Yotes offense that we've ever taken up to Brookings.
Yeah, by far. I've continued to hang my hat on at least a statement I've made. And I truly believe USD brings to the table the best skill position players in FCS. I do have a pretty good feeling that with the skill position players, they're at least the best that SDSU has faced since Oklahoma State. I know Oklahoma State's got some studs on there, but
with a healthy running back room too, our running back room is better. Their rushing numbers are, I don't want to say inflated, but part of those numbers are from, obviously long QB rushes too, especially with Chase Mason. So, you look at like that in terms of running backs, I think we've got better talent there as well. I think on offense, the biggest key for me, and we'll go right, is our offensive line versus their defensive line, because you have our 7th rated rush offense against their 7th rated rush defense.
Yeah.
And so something's got to give. We know what our rushing game is. We've watched it all season to this point. It's tried and true. Their front 7 on defense is extremely big and extremely physical and extremely good. And so when you have a 7 versus a 7 in terms of ratings, something's got to give here.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where it really comes down to, I do see them taking a very similar approach to what Youngstown State did. Like I said, when I watched the Youngstown State game, they had 8 in the box. A lot. And they just showed that they didn't have any faith in what Aiden could do. Now, Youngstown State's D-line, they have 1 stud. Right. But outside of that, they really weren't able to cause a ton of commotion. And Aiden had a fairly clean pocket on pretty much all of his pass attempts. This one's different. These SDSU
Yeah.
brings some true FBS level players to it. And I think it comes down to, Aiden being able to handle the pressure that's coming.
Yeah, and that kind of gets me to our first liability on our offense is our pass protection is good, but they haven't been challenged to this level yet this year. And we have given up some pressures. We've given up some sacks. We've seen Aiden in the last game get strip sacked there right before half. So that part worries me, and I do think you're right. I think they're going to make Aiden beat him through the air.
Yep.
I think you're going to see, just based on sheer talent and like we talked about with the rankings, they're going to shut down our run. I don't think they shut it down completely, but I don't think you're going to see us running wild like we have in every game to this point. And so Aiden's going to have to make some throws. And with that being said, the offensive line's going to have to obviously hold up in pass protection.
Yeah, and I think the biggest part when it comes to the pass protection is hopefully a guy we're getting back this week too in Travis Tice.
Yeah, he's actually kind of an underrated blocker.
Oh, by far. It does not get talked about enough. He needs to get credit where credit's due. Not only is he a good pass blocker, but he's a good blitz identifier and picker-upper.
Yeah.
Yes, he's going back there.
He's got the experience and knowledge, and then obviously the ability to see that and pick it up. And I agree,
exactly.
He's definitely underrated on a pass protector there in the backfield.
Yep, and I think really what it comes down to is this team has to be efficient. I don't think we're going to go out there have 12, 14 play drives by any means.
No,
but if we can go out and have a sustained drive of 8 to 12 play drives where we can get down into the red zone, kick some field goals, put some points on the board. Obviously, we want to get the monkey off our back of scoring a touchdown against these guys. That I dare them to kick to Keandre Jones-Logan. We can open it up right away with the touchdown. But we need to get that off. I think it's crucial to put a touchdown on the scoreboard before the end of the first quarter.
So psychologically, I think that's a big hurdle, right? Because we were joking about it today in the group text, but we haven't scored a touchdown since the Hail Mary. Yeah. And so, you think about that to me, that's kind of a big hurdle just mentally and emotionally to get over that hurdle. And it's going to be a raucous environment, especially to start this game because it is a night game. So you're going to have all day for the fans to get rowdy and get lubricated. So it's going to be, to me, that's really, and not only that touchdown, but really just how we start the game in general, because we keep kind of talking about defense. We can't go down 7-0, 14-0 to begin this game. And same thing on offense. We have to be productive with that first drive. I think that's really the tone setter. And if we can punch it in for 7, I think that's going to give us all the confidence we need.
Exactly. And that, it really comes down to my next point, taking advantage of the opportunities that are there. Whether that is you get in the red zone, that's got to be 6. Once we get within those 20 yards, we have to score. We score at a very good rate. I wish I could find the one that shows, I think it was our boys from Blue Blood tweeted out a wonderful stat. We score at a better rate in the red zone. They give up a higher rate of touchdowns in the red zone than what we do. So there's a lot of potential for taking advantage of those opportunities, but it's also taking advantage. We're not going to have those big plays that we're used to seeing. Big chunk plays like Karan Adams had against Youngstown or Tice down the sideline against UNI.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you're going to see 40, 50-yard plays. I think 20 would be a big play in this game. Their defense is just too good.
Well, and even we're going to have those moments where there will be an opportunity for a 40, 50 long touchdown play. That ball's got to be perfect. It has to be placed in the breadbasket. It has to be perfect. We have to make them pay for those opportunities, and that's really what it comes down to. And
I think you're right. I think there will be 1 or 2 of those in the game. There is in every game, and in a lot of these games up to this point, we've seen those connections actually happen.
All right, so I have found the stat. This is from Timothy Rosario from the Blue Bloods. He had a fantastic podcast. They spent 20 minutes on this game themselves as well.
Oh yeah,
I thought they
those
did
guys
fantastic.
every week those guys have a great show.
Exactly. So, red zone touchdown percentage. SCSU 62.9%. And then USD at 74.1%. So when we're getting in the red zone, it's 3 out of 4 times it's a touchdown.
Right.
And then we got Will or honestly Zeke, either one I'm comfortable sending out. We're going to get a field goal on it, but I'd rather, like I said, get touchdowns. Big thing, defensive red zone touchdown percentage, 43.8% by the Bunnies.
Okay.
So they're giving up touchdowns in there where we're only giving up 40% touchdowns.
Right.
It does come down to strength of schedule. I did get on you a little bit when you brought that up.
Yeah, and that's looking at some of these metrics, you have to, I don't want to say take it with a grain of salt, but you have to factor in the level of competition between us and them to this point. I think that I'm not going to say that it evens it out completely, but it makes them a little closer than some of these numbers are.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. They had the number one team, or now number one team in the nation, up on their field in Fargo. So that's tough. But then you look at everybody else. They had Incarnate Word, right?
Yep.
They ended up blowing them out 44-24, if I remember correctly. Well, Incarnate Word we thought was good. They're not. But I think Portland State and them are probably on the same level the way things have been going. Wisconsin's a better team than Oklahoma State. I think by far, considering Oklahoma State's last in the Big 12 right now with 0 wins.
Yeah, and week one's always tough to judge too.
Exactly. So it's one of those things, grain of salt. Maybe the strength of schedule statistically is better, but I don't think there's a huge difference between our strength of schedule and theirs.
Okay. Yeah, I can go with that.
All
I
right.
want to frame this up for a second. I want to go back because we jumped right into offense, but I want to frame this up a little bit. So the Reddit FCS spread was 6.5 in favor of them. Looking at Massey ratings, Massey gave us a 17% win probability, and I think let's see if I have it here. They wrote, they were predicting 27-14, so we'll keep that in the back of our mind as we continue on here. But that was the Massey ratings and Massey simulation. This is just some kind of background information too. This is the 118th meeting between us.
Absolutely nuts.
So that's why I got upset. And it's a 3 versus 4. That's why I got upset at the FCS delivered guys today, because they didn't even give us the game of the week designation.
Yeah.
And gave it to Western Carolina and Mercer, which
Mercer got absolutely.
It doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but it bothered me a little bit the fact that 3 versus 4 was not the game of the week in their eyes. But nonetheless, a lot of things on the line in this game. So obviously you have the rivalry, right? You got the bragging rights in the state. You also have, on top of that, you have the Missouri Valley Football Conference champion implications, because technically speaking, all 4 Dakotas are still in that race to win the Missouri Valley Conference, because we all play each other here at the end of the season. And then you also have obviously the playoff implications in the FCS playoffs. And then just to kind of sweeten the pot, you have the SD Showdown series, the SD Corn Showdown series, which is worth 2 points, us versus them, and across all sports. So there's a lot on the line in this game. And then we're talking as we get to the offense here, and just kind of in terms of ranks and stats and where we stack up, we're actually pretty darn even when you shake it all out. And the fact that we're rated 3 and 4, and I just want to reiterate this is the best team that we've ever taken to Brookings since we went D1. So also keep that. By far. So keep that in mind. Even we talked about it offline that this year's team would beat last year's team.
Oh yeah, and I still think it's by a couple scores even too.
Yeah. So keep that in the back of your mind too as we continue on talking about this thing.
And I will say the only other key I really have for the offensive side of the ball: open the playbook, mix things up, and take advantage of some opportunities. I took an opportunity to watch the SCSU NDSU game. It was painful. I don't understand how people thought that was a good game when it's 9-13. Like, that's not actually good football.
If you like defense.
And I don't. It gets boring.
We're
But you
used
know
to
what?
seeing 40 points on the scoreboard. So
Exactly. And so I watched it, and what SDSU really does, it's 3rd and 1 at the four. I'm putting a scenario in your head. 3rd and 1 at their 40-yard line. What are you thinking of a play call? Usually it's going to be a run up the gut. Let's just get that first down and move on.
Yep.
They are too. They absolutely sold out on North Dakota State on those run situations. I know NDSU's quarterback is more accurate statistically, but I trust our quarterback on the deeper throws more than him.
I think Aiden has more touch on his passes. I think he's more touch. I think Cam's more your scramble and find somebody open kind of guy. And also to that point in that scenario, thinking about that kind of play and setup, we actually have a better rushing offense than NDSU.
Yeah.
Statistically and just the eye test.
Yeah. But in those situations, they're sold out on the run. You have the best tight end in FCS. You have one of the best receiving corps in the nation as well. Let's mix it up. Let's run, JJ on a go route instead. Fake block, go. Aiden on a play action, that's a 6 easily, especially with the guy that pulls away from most corners in FCS. We got to mix it up. It can't be the same generic 3rd-and-1. Let's get to 1st-and-10.
Right, just bashing your head against the wall over and over again. That's what that game was last Saturday.
Exactly. So, you got anything else?
In terms of offense, no, I don't really have anything else in terms of offense. I would just say that I don't want to even mention them, but the Jackrabbit Illustrated guys, they actually did a nice job with their summaries on our team, and they actually kind of called out some of our playmakers. They actually gave us a lot of credit. And I will say too, yeah, they were respectful. They gave us quite a bit of credit in terms of what we've done on offense, and the national media too. They've given us the respect, but they just have questions as far as us being able to prove it on this stage.
Exactly.
And so the last thing I'll say about offense on that note is just, it seems like in years past we go up to Brookings and we just lay an egg, and so that's where I keep.
You don't even have to say up at Brookings.
It's okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. But just thinking, and I just want to reiterate that again. It's like this is the best team. So if not now, when?
Yep, exactly. And that's exactly where I'm at. Let's do it. There is absolutely no reason. If this was Southern Illinois at number 3, if this was you and I at number 3, I don't think it wouldn't be as big in our heads.
No.
And that's really where we got to get out of. And I was going to say that I'll save that for the end, but that's really a big key.
All right.
But yeah, let's go ahead and flip it over to the defensive side. And I mean, I see Daxton here has a wonderful question about our secondary these last few games. How you feeling about them?
So thinking about just a couple of games where we've been beat over the top, thinking about Southern Illinois, they're picking on Shaheed, and rightfully so, but because especially 3-4 games ago, he was still shaking that rust off coming back from the injury from last year's playoffs. But they're picking on him, so they've beat us over the top a couple times. But I will say this, the once or twice it happens in a game, it typically has happened early, and it's not happened again. And so I have in this game, so kind of thinking about our secondary and where they're at, I think they're better than NDSU and SDSU secondary across. If you look at all 4 guys, compare our 2 safeties and corners to them, I think we have the better secondary. And the other thing is too, in this game specifically, SDSU's passing offense is out of sync. They are nowhere near the level of quality passing the ball as they were the last couple of years, and that's because they lost a lot of guys. And so you lost 2 NFL wide receivers, and guys that have been there 6+ years, what seemed like for freaking ever. You think about that, they have one guy, right? Wildy. He's pretty much all they have. They use 4 or 5 different tight ends because they really don't have the guy. Right now, they have a bunch of young talent, but nobody's really stepped up.
Yep.
Graham Goring, their other wide receiver, he's okay. But I like our secondary and how they match up against their passing offense. And part of it is because I believe in our secondary. The part is because SDSU's passing game is mid at this point.
Yeah. And, this is the thing I want to say most about this game. Don't let this be the game where Mark gets it rolling. He
Right.
hasn't found it yet. He's going to come into it with juice. If we can pick him off early, we can break his spirit. It is kind of crazy that a guy that they spent way too much money on NIL, a guy that did he win 2 Walter Paytons? I know he's a 2 championship guy though.
Yeah, one. I don't know if he won both. I can't remember.
But this guy has fallen, and I don't know what's going on.
Well, you took away a bunch of talent around him, right? You start taking away all those pieces, and he doesn't look nearly as good as he was last year. And the other part of it is too is the other quarterback, Chase Mason. They bring him in for a handful of snaps a game, maybe 5 to 10, 15 snaps a game, and he looks better. And I know they mostly run with him, but he looks better than the other guy. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. And Chase Mason, I guess I haven't looked too closely at his stuff, but he's only thrown the ball 8 times. Like, that's not somebody that you really sell out when you see him step on the field.
And I agree, but I'm just thinking if he would have been the guy, right?
Yeah, we all thought that was going to be the guy, and he came up because we all thought Mark was going to go. I think most people thought he was going to Northwestern with their offensive coordinator, but
yeah, I think that. So we kind of circling back to our defense as a whole. So their rushing attack, I don't even know what did I have here. Their rushing attack is rated 6 in FCS compared to our 7, and really they have, like I said, it's a mixture of running backs and quarterback runs, both with Mark and especially Chase. He's broken a 50+ yarder now in the last couple games. So I think that
like every game.
I know it does lately, and so that's really the biggest threat for me. And it brings back nightmares of playing NDSU in the playoff game last year, and watching Cole Payton just run down the sideline untouched on us on those quarterback runs. And so that's, to me, probably the biggest threat for that home run type play against us.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it comes down to my first point. These work together. Sound tackling. Let's continue to back up that PFF rating of being the number 2 tackling team in the nation. We did not show that against Youngstown. No. The amount of times that their quarterback slipped through our grasp drove me nuts. My receding hairline probably went back an extra half an inch from that game alone. So that, that's where I'm at on that. But with Chase Mason, I texted you, or I put it in the USD forum page. Definitely check that out too if you're a Kyle fan that wants to continue conversations throughout the week. I think an easy way to stop Chase Mason is follow the strong side. They have a tell because they can. Whenever he's in there, they're going to run it to him, or it's going to be a handoff to Mark. It's kind of weird how they do it.
Yeah, but so you're alluding to the fact that they use both. They'll put Chase as a running back, so they have 2 quarterbacks in the game at the same time.
Well, Chase even takes direct snaps.
Yep.
And then it's funny, they'll run a read RPO basically, and what happens is Chase Mason reads the DN and how his linemen are pulling. What we need to do, our safety on the strong side of that formation needs to crash hard. And what we do on the backside, then the safety on the weak side has to come over because we are susceptible to the pop pass to the tight end. Chase is not going to throw across the field. That is the dumbest thing you can do. The only thing we really have to worry about is if he does hand it off to Mark and they run a play out of that instead. But he also has to be behind Mark when he does it. It can't be in front. If he does it in front, it's the illegal forward pass.
Right.
So it's really just reading your tells, studying the film and reading your tells.
Yeah, and you look at the NDSU game, just their most recent body of work. I mean, that was the only one they scored, right? And so,
did you see the Bison? totally take out Mark on that play too, and then start a whole scrum?
I did. Yeah, there was a whole fight at kind of the corner of the end zone there off to the side
Yeah. Poor
the
Chase,
play.
he's in the corner doing some
Yeah.
stupid touchdown dance.
Yeah.
And
There was
the
a
whole
big
team
fight going on.
that was funny.
I did see that.
All right, so another key I have for you on the defensive side, we need to keep everything in front of us. That is I'd say probably the biggest factor in the game. And by that, we want to get their passing game run going. They want to break those long runs. Everything in front of us, and you should feel comfortable with where the game's going then.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to go back to your tackling just for a second. Too
Yeah.
many times we're seeing guys go for a big hit instead of wrapping up. You know,
Yep.
I'm okay with if a guy's got him wrapped up and somebody else comes in and tries to put a helmet on the football or punch it out or something like that. But the first guy who gets there should not be going for the big shoulder hit and instead wrapping up because
Yep.
that's how those big plays happen. And these guys are going to be bigger, faster, stronger than some of the other guys we've seen recently
Yep.
in terms of the offense and ball carriers. So that would be, in my opinion, probably one of the biggest keys.
And don't be stupid with your hits either. Last year we lost Miles Harden in this game.
Oh, did we? I guess I didn't remember that.
Yeah, he got targeting in the first half.
Oh, geez.
Yep. If I remember, I'm like 90% sure now it was Miles. It was one of our corners, but it felt big. And obviously, last year, I do think Barros is behind where he was last year. I think he was a better version of himself last year, and he's still trying to find his footing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's going to lead to another key, but don't let their passing game go. Barros is going to have to be top notch.
Yeah, and really, I'm okay if they get some yards through the air. I just don't want to see them gash us on the ground because if you think about years past, they've played bully ball. They get up by 7 or 14, and then they just play bully ball and keep away and just march down the field methodically on us and just grind us down into oblivion. And so that's kind of where I'm at and really on offense too, but the both sides, we have to be able to create a stalemate at the line of scrimmage versus getting pushed back. And so we talk about, over the years, my biggest kind of pet peeve with USD and where we've been is we just haven't had the dudes. We haven't had those the big dudes on the defensive line and the front seven. And now we do. And so that's to me the biggest key is can we hold up in the front seven and stop their rushing attack because they have a darn good one.
Yeah. Well, and fingers crossed, we need Gase. I'm not 100% sure if he's going to be playing or not. I do have a pretty good feeling that Gary will be back in. I think that was just precautionary at the end of the Youngstown game. But we need Gase.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
absolutely.
Strange enough, this weird person just wandered into our studio. Don't even know what's going on. So hold on, he's muted. I can't unmute.
Get off mute.
What's up,
there
guys?
We go. This random homeless guy just walked into our studio. I don't know what's going on.
What are we even talking about? Is there a game this weekend?
He's wearing red, so
major.
He's welcome.
High school football's alive and well tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Hey, that's all right. It's good to have you here right now. Actually, I think we're getting close to cleaning up on the defensive side.
Sounds good.
Like you're having a party over at your house.
Sorry, I'm bringing a 3-year-old who does not want to go to sleep to this, so I'll be in audio. So we're talking defense?
Yeah, yes, we're talking defense.
Okay, I'll let you guys kind of keep going, and I can offer my 2 cents as needed. I don't want to bring any hiccups into this.
Okay. Well, and yeah, I think we're getting close to being pretty much done. It was just going to be cleaning up at the end here. Okay. The only other thing I truly had, I do think the big thing that USD needs is 2 turnovers. Mark has been pretty susceptible to the interceptions, so it's very possible. But if we could get one of their running backs to fumble, that is, I think, a bigger win than just another pick. If we could pull a fumble out of them, they're very sound running backs. Our running backs are better. Theirs are very sound. They're not going to fumble. They're not going to be stupid. They'll fall to the ground before the ball gets ripped out. We got to get one out of their hands, though.
Well, and I think they have one banged up too, don't they?
I'm not sure. Unfortunately, I'm not great when it comes to keeping up with.
You got Angel and Amar, and one didn't even play.
One of them's banged up. I can't remember his name though. One of them is banged up because I think Angel and Amar are good to go, but
I wonder if it's Kirby.
Yeah, I think it was because I don't think he played last. I want to say he didn't even play against NDSU.
Look,
you can look that up real quick. I'm just going to say too on defense. The last thing I'll say is we can't go. I said this earlier, but we can't go down 7 or even 4, especially 14. If they score first, we have to answer. Obviously, if they get the ball first, whatever. But can't go down 14-0 in this game like we did against Youngstown.
And Kirby did not have a carry against North Dakota State. It was Chase, Mark, Amar, and Angel.
Jake,
I don't think he played.
And Jake, on your point too, the turnover, we have to. There's several factors to win this game, right? But on defensive end, they cannot lose the turnover battle. I think this is going to be a really clean game as far as turnovers go. I don't think State has the guys that turn it over a lot. The only thing I worry about maybe is Aiden's deep ball because State's secondary linebackers are pretty good this year, and the whole defense is really good. So it's him taking care of the ball and not making stupid throws, right? Like if we need to swing it off to the running back out of the backfield, Josh Davis is known for having that option. That's going to be key. And if we do turn it over, like we need to match that intensity and try to get the ball back. The other thing, and I'm sorry if you guys hammered this home too, and sorry for joining late, but we can't allow the big play. I've texted you guys this, like my worst nightmare is the first drive, Chase Mason runs for like a 45-yard run to the house. Right. And the play goes ballistic. It sets the tone, momentum, everything like that. Like we need to not have the big play. I don't think they have a good or bad red zone touchdown percentage. It's probably in like the upper 60s, I want to say.
Yep.
But so if we can let them get, no more than 20-yard plays, get them down in the red zone, bend, don't break, force a field goal. And I believe, Mitch, correct me if I'm wrong, because this is your forte, but I believe that it's still calling for that south wind. So
our weatherman.
Picturing their stadium, if I'm picturing their stadium, that is blowing into the stadium over the student section. I believe, because I think their stadium runs south to north.
Yeah, it does. It would be it would be coming right over the top of the student section, basically. This is the kind of in-depth analysis you get here.
Well, and the reason I bring that up too is because their kicker is good, but he's nothing special. Like it's not reliable. That's the thing with this whole SDSU team right now is offense and special teams. They're good, but they haven't proven to be consistently reliable. And yes, they've put up 50, 60 points or 40 points and stuff, but it's been their running game, right?
Yeah, basically that's all they have for offense is their rushing attack.
And I heard you guys at the beginning where you talked about hold on, I got to handle this.
You're good. All right. That's the fun part about being a parent podcaster.
All right. Yeah. So we were just saying their rushing attack, right, is pretty much their entire offense. And statistically that's proven. Passing game's definitely out of sync, like we already mentioned. So yeah, defensively, I think we pretty much covered all the keys there.
Yeah, exactly.
Kicking the Logan, man. When they're kicking against the wind, I'm calling it. They can boot it as far and hard as they want. When they're kicking that one side, it's going to come to him.
So yeah, you're right. It's out of the south about 15 mile an hour. So,
and we all know
there'll be a little breeze.
The evening winds do settle down, but if we could get the wind at our backs to start the game, they kick into it. We could, like I think you missed it, Jordan. I did say we could break that touchdown streak the no touchdown streak right away on the opening kick.
I did hear that. I'm
up.
with you, man. I think we do break the touchdown streak several times this game, just because I think we have the offense for it. But I won't repeat what you guys were talking about earlier.
No, I think now at this point, it's just we're going to get into our key players of the game, score predictions, and call it a night.
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay, so Jordan, it looks like you got a little bit going on at your place, so we'll let you get your key players out first.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that this morning. I think my key players are going to be JJ Galbraith,
okay,
Aiden Bauman, and on the defensive end, Marquise Grace.
Okay, I like it. Yeah.
All right.
We've really touched on that. Mitch, who are you feeling?
I'm going Aiden as well, because we talked about when we talked about offense, he's going to be called upon in this game to make a couple plays, and it's going to be under duress. Guy coming bearing down on him, he's going to have to take that hit, step up in the pocket, take the hit, make the throw, and drop that in the bucket, like we've seen him do. But the only difference is it's going to be under pressure, more so in this game than we've seen, to date. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope the offensive line does a fantastic job this weekend. Obviously I could be wrong, but I just think that this defensive line that we face is the best that we've seen this year, and they are going to get pressure, and Aiden's going to step up and make some of those throws. And I have full confidence he can and will, but there will be a couple times he will be tested in this game, and that could be the difference. Then on defense, since Jordan went Marquise Grace, which is a fantastic one on the defensive line, I'm going to go right in the middle. I'm going to go linebacker Gary Bryant, because with their rushing attack, he's going to have to be an absolute dog out there on Saturday. He's going to be called upon to make tackle after tackle after tackle, because they're going to be coming right at him downhill. And so I'm going him in the middle.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like there's an echo in here. My offensive key player, it's got to be Aiden Bauman, 100%. This is his legacy game. This is the one where he builds his Hall of Fame career with USD off of, to not only continue to show that we are a very good team, but this is that step for him to step us up and take us to the promised land. You win in Brookings against the number 3 team in the nation, who was just number 1. You can win anywhere, and that's where it's going to be. And you're right, there is going to be pressure in his face. What he needs to do is be able to stand in the pocket and throw, but not off of his back foot. He's got to know those hits are coming. Guess what? He gets some of those hits, they hit him wrong. That's going to be penalties on them. That is also going to help the offense. He's got to be ready. I don't want him taking hits. Nobody wants him taking hits, because the more he gets hit, the more he's going to be shaken. But he knows they're coming. Defense, we all have somebody different, which is pretty awesome. I'm going Dennis Shorter. Almost the exact same reasons as Mitch is picking with Gary Bryant. But I think the safety work and how shoddy the passing game has been for SCSU, I think he's going to have to be a factor in the run game. And like I said, stuffing the run, pushing the strong side of the field when Chase Mason's in. He can't throw across the field. That is the dumbest rule, or that is the dumbest thing you can do as a quarterback. That is like rule number 1, don't throw across the field. So he's just got to be able to play downhill and take out his guys with arm tackles right through them. Do not just hit them as hard as you can.
Right.
And then the other thing is, don't be stupid. This is the game I do have some nervous energy about for Tevin McKelvey. He's had his issues in inopportune penalties.
Yep.
He is a fantastic player. We need him on the field. He cannot have one of those overthought games where he tries too hard and gets a penalty. I'm good with the occasional hold by the corners in the secondary if it means saving a touchdown. Totally fine with that. But don't get kicked out of this game, and don't do a stupid horse collar out of bounds. Don't hit late. Let's play smart. This is just another team. This is just another stadium.
Well, and that's for the whole team, right? Control your emotions, because this game is going to be charged up from the get-go. And so staying within yourself, playing our style of football are going to be huge.
Penalties, you guys hammered it, right? Like the state did not have a good game last week with penalty. I think they had 10 I feel like they had 10 for a lot of yards.
They did actually.
That's nuts.
Hey, we're no slouch either to this, right? Like that's been frustrations in some of these blowout wins we've had. Is like, was it NSU or Drake, where it was like the end of the second? Was it the end of the first or second quarter where it was like, my God, you guys, like 5 penalties in the last 7 plays?
Yeah, Drake.
Several games ago, but like, this is why you play those big D1 FBS games, all right? You get used to this environment. This one will be a little bit amped up, but one closing comment I'll have before we get to predictions is to me, there's more pressure on them with implications than there is USD. We at least have another chance to go toe-to-toe with NDSU, and we have that game at home.
Right.
Yep.
Obviously, if we get our butts whooped, that's a different story. I just don't think talent-wise we've got the roster where we're going to get our butts whooped. Worst case, it's a 2-score, 10-point loss, whatever.
Right.
But if we can hang with the Bunnies, if we can obviously beat them, there's more pressure on them because if they lose, they're now 5-3, 2-2 in the Valley. And now you're talking not only the Dakota schools, but Missouri State. I know that they don't qualify for playoffs.
They don't
qualify for a conference championship, right?
They could win. I mean, Missouri State could hoist the trophy for that, yes, but they cannot go in the playoffs at all.
But personally, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that as I've the last couple of years, it's been fun to become more of an FCS fan. I think from the outside looking in, there's more pressure on SDSU to win this game.
Oh, absolutely.
Than USD.
Yep.
So they need to understand that you've got this history that's not on your side. You've got some to lose, but not everything to lose like State might have, because they lose. That's 2-2 in the Valley, and they still have to go to North Dakota.
Yep.
Their own fan shows are telling their own fans to chill out, right? They're going ballistic over this one loss. Can you imagine if we beat them up there? They're gonna lose their mind.
They're going to resort to some low blows. I can already feel it, But no, it's going to be a fun game. But that was just kind of my thing, was penalties and chip on your shoulder. You got to leave it all out because you get a bye.
Right.
You get a bye after this, and then
perfect timing for it too. By the way,
it's not a cakewalk. But if you beat SDSU, you don't really need style points for that home game against Indiana State. Continue to stay healthy. Continue to get better. Just win that next game, and then that sets you up really nice for the last 2 weeks of the year, regular season.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so you guys ready to get into predictions?
Let's do it.
I think so.
Okay. Mitch, we'll have you go first. How you feeling?
Oh man, you're gonna let me go first.
Oh, that's the perk of me calling you guys out. I get to pick between you, and I'm just gonna keep going back and forth.
All right. Well, we talked about this way back in February, so this isn't going to be a surprise to you guys. It might be a surprise to some of the folks that are listening or watching now, but we haven't won there since 2000. Okay.
Yeah.
November 4th, 2000, 41-28 win. We were talking about this offline today. How guys I think Jordan said this in the text. Guys on our team weren't even born yet the last time we won up there. So. And then you go back even further to the year I was born, 1989. That was the last other win we've had up there. We're 2-14 since 1989. And so I have a hard time picking us in this game. I really do. I predicted us to go 9-3. Obviously, it's not even doable now thanks to Portland State. But I think this game is, on paper, it's close. I think the eye test is close. And the only reason I'm giving them the edge, I'm going to stick to my preseason prediction. The only reason I'm giving them the edge is because it's at home.
Yep.
And I just do not see them losing to us at home again. So I'm going 24-17 Bunnies.
Okay. I respect it. I respect somebody that will speak the truth, even if it is harsh sometimes. So we're just going to put you on the mute now.
Yep,
Mitch,
go ahead.
Don't get to talk anymore.
I'll leave.
All right. Jordan, how you feeling?
I said my score out loud, and now my son is counting up the score. So I'm with Mitch. I think on paper I'm giving. Well, I'm Mitch on this one thing. On paper it's really close, but not so fast, my friend. I think that this is a slow start game. Like I think that State even hops up to maybe like a 10-3 lead at the end of the first or something, right? But I think the second half the teams make the adjustments where defense might fall out the window a little bit. I'm going 31-27 USD.
Okay.
And it's a go-ahead touchdown by USD in like the final 6 minutes of the game, and then the defense holds strong.
That's a lot of points for two good defenses.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I think the first half is going to be stellar, and then the second half, some adjustments are made, and then it just becomes a race. It's just these offenses kind of figure out their mojo. They kind of get going, and it's just back and forth, back and forth. The beer is going to be flowing up in Brookings, at the Sandbar, at JJ's. It's going to be a fun time. It'll get your legacy beers. It's going to be fun. So I'm taking Yotes 31-27.
I don't mind that, and here's why I don't mind that. The emotional and physical hangover from that NDSU game may be a very real thing for them, as much as they don't want to admit it. I think that actually plays in our favor, and we talked about that way back in February when we were dissecting the schedule when it first came out. All right, the floor is yours, Jake.
Okay, you guys ready to run through a wall? Because that's how I'm feeling right now. I tell you, it all comes down. The only opponent in this game for USD is between their ears. That is where it's at. If you walk into this place, it's just another stadium. It's just another team. We are not going to have a problem with it. We step on our own feet when we play these guys all the time. And I truly think this team's clear. They're focused. They're ready to roll. I did scribble and pull down the score a little bit, but I'm calling 27-17. Now, I truly see USD winning this, and I could see us kicking a field goal with about 4 minutes left, ice the game, go up 10, two-possession game. Don't have to worry about it. To Jordan's point about the second half, what do you think the highest amount of points we've allowed in the second half has been in one game?
This season?
7, 10, maybe.
14? 10?
10 by Wisconsin. Yep. That's it. We have SIU scored 6. They went for 2, and we stuffed them. UNI 7. Outside of that, nobody has scored in the second half against USD. We are a fantastic second half adjustment team, and that's where I want to flip Jordan's, and I think it's going to be something where we get up, maybe 13-3 in the first quarter, so halfway through the second, and then we just sit on it. We hold it. We let our defense work. We lean on our run game, burn down the clock, and just take it into halftime, make our adjustments, and come back and just continue to hold on to it. I've been feeling good. I told you guys I was feeling a 10-point win. 10 points. If you watch games that are 10-point wins, sometimes you go, well, actually, that team that won, they blew them out. Other times you go, oh, 10-point game. That was a very close game. That's how I'm feeling. It's going to be a close game, but we iced the game.
10 or more points is going to light the FCS world on fire if that happens, if we win by 10 or more, because there will be so many talking points on both sides.
Yeah, there is. And, that's one thing. This is going to sound weird. I don't want to beat them by too much, though, too, where everybody starts questioning how bad is SDSU instead of how good is USD.
No,
that might be something that
if we win, we want to pound them into. We just
exactly.
No. I'm not going there. Don't even go there.
But no, I do think I feel good. The team feels good. If everybody walks out there healthy and suited up, there's nothing that's really going to stop us. The one last thing I have to say, remember, it takes a full game to beat a coyote, but it only takes 1 second to beat a rabbit. So go Yotes.
I'm ready. Tomorrow's going to be hard to focus. I'm not going to lie.
Yes.
It is, and Saturday is going to be excruciating waiting for that night kickoff as it was against YSU.
Yeah.
And real quick, I do have a text in score prediction from Grandpa Larry. He picks the Yotes to win 17-14.
Is there anybody else listening that can throw out predictions too?
I swear to God, if this is a 10-7 game, I might actually start losing hair, or it's going to start going gray.
For sure.
You know what? We win. That's all that matters.
We need to throw out Grant's too. I'm going to call it the ghost of Grant because he's not here. He's in Mexico right now. But he gave us some bullet points. I think we hit most of them here on the show. But he was calling for 24-21 Yotes with a last-second Zeke Mata long field goal to win it. 50-plus yarder.
Imagine. If I was on the football team, I would literally run to Stig's house and steal the little brown jug back.
Give us the jug back and drink the juice that's in it.
We could do that. We could surround his house until we get the jug back.
It's in the. He's got it on the mantle. It's his prized possession.
Man, it's where he keeps the juice.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, but remember, we're just a secondary rival, so it doesn't matter at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. You guys got anything else?
No pressure on us. All the pressure's on them, like we said.
Hey, watch parties, okay? They're at the Sandbar in Sioux Falls or JJ's in Sioux Falls. I know there's a few in Rapid. I think there's a couple in Omaha set. But wear red tomorrow. I didn't even wear socks yesterday because the only clean pair I had were like dark navy ones. I'm not wearing any blue this week.
Yep.
So wear red, be proud. If you're in Sioux Falls, go to Shields, buy stuff up so we can stop complaining about their selection of stuff. Got to buy stuff to get more stuff. Go Yotes. Exactly. It's going to be fun Saturday.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Go Yotes. Let's make it a Coyote State.
You say go Yotes?
Go Yotes.
You say go Yotes? Okay, he's going to be silent now. He's been saying it the last 30 seconds. But
all right. Well, we'll catch you guys all later. Let's go Yotes.
Maybe a halftime live show.
Oh, we got a Coyote or a Jackrabbit fan popping in real quick.
What do we got?
Your favorite guy, Ryan Downing.
Oh, get out of here.
All right.
But he did pick 10-6. He thinks it's a close game too. So I respect people that believe it's going to be close.
Again, if it's 10-6, well, the beer will be flowing. Let's just say that.
All right, perfect. We'll catch you guys later.
See you guys.
Later.